Hi, my name is Jack Miller. I'm a real estate investor and I'm a lender and I'm a JV equity investor in all kinds of real estate all over the country. We have deals in, I think, 34, 35 states, something of that nature. I've been involved with real estate as a principal, either a borrower, a JV investor, or a lender in thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of deals over 35 years. I see good, hardworking people with great intentions keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And I wanted to take the time to list those mistakes out, to tell you those mistakes, with the hope that new people don't make those same mistakes. So here it goes. And first of all, if you see what you like the YouTube channel. I don't make money by giving advice. We're in the lending business. I'm doing this just because I feel so bad for some people. You can make a ton of money in real estate, but you can really, and that money can really provide generational wealth to you and your family. But you can also really screw up your life and screw up your credit and lose a lot of money. So you need to do things right. But leave your questions, leave your comments, and we'll answer them. So here's the common denominators that I see. First of all, in buying, and I'm going to focus mainly on fixing and flipping or rehabbing, whatever you want to call it. First of all, you have to understand that you need to be good at three things. One is buying a property, two is managing a property and fixing it up, and the third is selling it. So buying the property, let's take one at a time. Buying the property, you have to be an excellent buyer, and not everyone has that skill. They don't know what to pay for a property. They're not great buyers. That's just a skill some people have, some people don't have. The middle one is managing and fixing it up, whether you're going to fix it up to sell it, whether you're going to fix it up and lease it out. You have to be good at that aspect of fixing it up and managing the property, either to sell or managing it to rent. And the last one is selling it. You have to be a skilled seller. Some people have two of the skills, some people have one of the skills. It's very rare to find someone with all three skills. But if you're not strong at one, I would partner up with someone who is strong, or develop take your weakness and make it into a strength, develop it. But realize there's different skill sets for all of those. For the stage of buying, the middle stage of managing and fixing up, and the last stage of selling. And each one comes with a different skill set, what you need to do, what you need to learn. The second thing I see is, so you have to, back to the first stage, I apologize, is really understand that and really focus on that. The second one I see is a lot of people make the mistake of living off the profits before they sell it. They'll take some of the draw money and they'll live off of it. And that's a mistake and shouldn't be done. Real estate, especially on the rehabs, is not meant to live off of, or you're not going to do very well living off of some of them. And until you fix it up and sell it. Again, if it's a major construction job, a $10 million job, on the big jobs, then you build in something of that nature. But on the small jobs, you don't. And people do that all the time. This should be done, if you can't afford to live on it, don't do it full time. Now, that leads me to something. A lot of people want to be a full-time real estate investor. I have to tell you, it's almost impossible to be a full-time real estate investor in the beginning. It takes years and years to do it. So be very careful. Have your expectations set. I've seen a lot of people get in trouble in this area. You need another form of living, because it very rarely works out to be a full-time real estate investor in the beginning to make a living off it. Okay, now let's jump into the mistakes that I see. The first mistake I see all the time is people are paying too much for the property. They don't have a full understanding of what they can sell it for. They're too optimistic in their sales prices. They're too optimistic in the rehab cost, and they're too optimistic in the time frame. I'm going to talk about all those after. But paying too much is a major mistake I see. And what you should do is start out with what you can sell it for, minus the cost of rehabs, minus your soft costs, minus an acceptable profit margin, and then it will determine what you can sell it for. Use a spreadsheet. Don't just guess it. Use a spreadsheet. So work backwards. What a lot of people do say, oh, I can buy this property for X. I can sell it for X, but I think that's a mistake. I think you should work backwards, say, I can sell it for X. This is the rehab. This is the soft cost. This is the profit margin. This is what I can afford to pay for a property. So mistake number one, paying too much for a property. Mistake number two is underestimate the repair cost in time and costs. We, like, again, see countless rehab jobs all the time, and almost all of them are over budget significantly in terms of dollars, contracting costs, and time. And time is money, because every month you're paying interest on your money. You're paying utility bills, you have taxes, you have insurance, you have all kinds of things that come up. So be very realistic about what the cost is going to be. Be very suspect of contractors. I'm going to talk about contractors in a little bit, but be very suspect of them, but be extremely realistic, because underestimating the costs in dollars and time is a deal killer. Next, too tight margins. Because people overpay, because people underestimate, don't count for certain things like realtors commissions when you sell it, like holding costs and all these other things, the margins are too tight, and they're doing deals just to do deals. They're not doing deals that make sense, but they're doing deals just to turn the dollars. And really, unless it's profitable, there's no point in doing it. So the third thing is your margins are too tight. So be very careful of that. Again, paying too much is overestimating the sales prices. A lot of people, I see deals and they're using as comps the highest comps in the area. In other words, if you see, they'll bring a comp, and let's say they picked three and a quarter, and you look at the comps and they're 275 to 3, and they say, oh, there was one that sold for 3 and a quarter. So they're using that one, that outlier, as a comp. I hope they do sell it for the highest price, but don't always assume you're going to sell the property for the highest price. Usually you're not. In fact, you should use a good midpoint. In fact, for the stuff that we involve, we use toward the lower end. We certainly don't use the higher end. So overestimating a sales price is a killer. And it's a combination of these things, just gets people in trouble. Anyway, so don't overestimate the sales price. Be conservative in the sales price. Don't assume that you're going to get the higher end of the spectrum. And don't assume real estate's always going to go up. I'm making this in October of 24, where real estate is not going up. In fact, real estate's coming down because the interest rates have gone up. So don't always assume that everyone is selling is getting a higher and higher and higher sales price, that you're going to get a higher and higher sales price. That's not a fact. Maybe you'll get lucky, but look at that as more luck than anything else. Use a conservative number. The theme throughout this you're going to see is be conservative. Don't take chances. Don't be that crazy risk taker. Be conservative. Again, when you're that crazy risk taker, bad stuff can happen to you. If you're conservative, pick and choose a little more carefully, you'll be more successful and you'll make money. There are deals out there. I don't want you to think they're not. My next thing is contractors. Look, I don't mean to insult any contractors. There's a lot of fantastic contractors. We've been using some of the same ones for 30, 35 years, believe it or not. But there's a lot of bad ones too. And you have to be very careful in terms of contractors. Not accurate pricing, not accurate time frames, not getting permits. All these things will get you in trouble. Figure out if you need permits, if you need plans, what the approval process is with the city or township. If you need them, my advice to you is get them. Don't try to do around it and to save money. And be very careful what contractors you use. I could go on forever, but you really got to know them. And when I say know them, it's not knowing them, liking them. It's knowing them, the quality of their work, what their prices are to the estimate, how they deal with cost overruns, how they deal with things that don't come up. That's what I mean knowing them. I don't mean knowing their personality. Oh, you like them. Whether you like their personality, that has nothing to do with it. When I say know them, know how they deal with people, how they act, and how they deal with adversity. But because contractors are a major problem, and with contractors, be very careful how much money you give them. I see a lot of people get in trouble. They overpay their contractors up front. And the reality is some contractors just walk off the job. That's just the reality. So be very careful with your contractors. A lot of people get in trouble for them. And this is a major problem in the business, is finding good contractors to do the work. Financing. A lot of times it's bad financing. Either there's not enough money to complete the job, uh, or there's not enough time to complete the job. We see all the time, probably almost every day of the week, multiple requests from people who got a rehab loan from someone else or a fix and flip loan. They went above budget and the lender won't lend them the money, or they took a 6 or 9 month deal and it's now a year and the lender won't extend the time. It's a problem. So when you line up your financing, make sure you have ample dollars for cost overruns, and make sure that you have enough time to do the job, because things happen and go wrong all the time. I would also, lack of capital kills deals. Whether you finance it or you have the cash, you have to be adequately capitalized in order to do deals. Again, I've seen it. It's happened to me plenty of times. And by the way, all these things that I'm telling you, mistakes, I've made them personally, as well as seen other people make them. So I've lived it. Believe me, I've lived it with all of them. So make sure your financing is in order and make sure it all lines up with the time. My next thing is time, which all these things are intertwined, as you'll see. A lot of people underestimate the amount of time it takes to do a job. I always see, how long is it going to take you? Oh, we're going to close on a Monday, and Tuesday we're going to do this, Wednesday we're going to do this. It'll be done 30, 60, 90, 120 days, whatever the time frame is. Sometimes it takes 5 and 10 times that. We're dealing with a situation now. A guy bought a property, great guy, salt of the earth guy, honest guy, bought it in Chicago. He thought it would be done in, I think it was 3 or 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever it is. He's 3 years into the project. He's still not open. He happens to have a business and he's opening up another location because the city is giving him such a hard time about his permits and the handicap accessible and you can't get people out to inspect the work. It's just a real nightmare. So be very mindful. Whatever you think it's going to take you in terms of time, it's going to take you a lot longer. There's always things that come up. Which leads me into my next thing. Cost overruns in dollars and time. And again, all these are related. It's time. Cost overruns, there's always something that you don't know. One of my other things is not knowing what can go wrong. This is why you need a deal with enough juice in it to cover all sins. I always say, if you have enough juice in a deal, you can cover all screw-ups. Inflicted wounds or self-inflicted wounds, you can cover all colors, but you have to build in that time for cost overruns and things of that nature. Same thing with capital. You need to make sure there's enough capital. Again, do not assume everything is going to go good, because it won't go good. There'll be plenty of problems. And my last thing is doing too many at once. More investors and people die of indigestion than starvation. It's the truth. People bite off more than they can chew. They don't realize it. They don't think it. I talk to people all day long and they're all in the same position. They do one, they do good. They do two, they do three. Then they start doing more and more and things go wrong. Take it slow. Don't be afraid to take it slow with these rehabs, and don't bite off more than you can chew. Anyway, that's it. I apologize for my speedy talk. I'm a little bit of a rush, but I wanted to put this out there. Again, if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, please leave them and we'll monitor them and answer them. Take care and have a great day.